Oh, regrooving. Haven't done one in a while. Kind of been slacking off. I need to do what I need to. I am doing it. But I was trying to get into at least one a week. But then I started doing one a day. And I think just the overabundance kind of made me burn out a little bit. So I'm going to be doing one a week as a goal, and I'm going to stick to that goal. And even if I want to do more, I'm going to try and limit it because I tend to burn out. That's a common trait of mine. I go too hard into one particular area and it causes fatigue. Which isn't a bad thing. Like, it has its pros and cons. It's just when you want longevity and consistency, it has its downsides. But if you want quick progression, it has some very good upsides. So yeah, that's where I'm at with this whole streaming thing. And it's also a strange concept for me to talk to no one, which is essentially what I'm doing, like a lecture. I don't have to talk, but I feel as though keeping my train of thought current kind of gives a bit of an insight into what's going on. And a lot of the time I'm not even talking about the drawing itself, I'm just talking about the thought process and motivation and almost the mental battle you go through when creating a drawing. Not that there always is one, but sometimes there can be, and a lot of the times there are. At the moment, for me, there is a bit of a pushing through the mud and getting something on the page. You know, the fear of the blank canvas. You know, stare too long at it, it starts to stare back at you. And you don't really get anything going. But if you just start scribbling, the power of the scribble, you can get something that you like, or even don't like. A lot of the times, you don't like what you create, and that's okay. Especially if you have high standards for yourself. If you have high standards for yourself, a lot of the times you're going to create something that you don't like. And it's not that you have to lower your standards, you just have to, you don't have to do anything, but it's good to make things that you aren't super caught up in. And just doing it for the sake of doing it, like a little meditation. You know, you don't meditate to be good at meditating, right? You kind of meditate for the experience and the mental battles and the thoughts that come up and all the rest of it. That's not necessarily to get good at it. Yes, that's a byproduct of it, but if you're not enjoying a process, then you're less likely to do it. So try and enjoy the process of the pushing through the mud, of the limbic friction, as Andrew Huberman would put it. You know, it's like working out. You don't always enjoy when you're working out. The process isn't always going to be glamorous and beautiful, but the byproduct of going through that friction, there's going to be some progression, whether you realize it or you don't. You know, especially when it comes to like something like stretching, right? When you're doing something like stretching, you don't really see the benefits. You feel the benefits, but you won't necessarily see it. The cool thing about drawing is it's almost instantaneous. Well, it is instantaneous. You put the pen to paper, or pencil to paper, and as soon as you make your movement, that's when the art is done, right? I could get up and say this is what I did. I spent 5 minutes drawing. Cool. It's done for the day. But I've got a bit more time on my hands. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. I'm gonna keep going and see where it takes me. I have really no clue where this is gonna go, where this is gonna lead. It's just kind of an open process of, oh, this direction kind of looks cool, that direction kind of looks cool. It's almost like a flower or some sort of tree at the moment. I'm not too caught up with. It could turn up into something else. It doesn't have to be a tree or a flower. It could be some weird alien tentacle. It doesn't have to be real. You know, especially if you're doing like realism and you're trying to copy something from, and you're not happy with it. A lot of the times, if I'm drawing, like practicing my my realism or whatever it's called, like when you look at something and you draw it, I forget what that's called, the interpretation. If you're not happy with it, because obviously it's not going to look like the real thing, you're going to be you're either going to be your worst critic or your best critic. Turn it into something else. Turn it into like a dragon or something. It doesn't have to be that thing. Turn it into some crazy scribble. Put your emotions into your artwork. Yes. Put your emotions into your artwork. You know, if you're angry, get a piece of charcoal and smear that thing over the paper until you're released that energy. If you're sad, let the teardrops hit the page, man. As cheesy as it sounds. Like, it gives so much therapeutic value when you draw, when you make art, and you put your emotions in. Sometimes you can be emotionless when you make art, that's fine too. But if you're feeling down, if you're feeling happy, if you're feeling anger, if you're feeling whatever you're feeling, just throw it into your art. Literally throw it into your art. Throw your pen at your paper if that's what you want to do. Alright? And then go off of that. Throw it a bunch of times. Throw the paper at the pen. Switch it up. You don't have to be strict with yourself with how you draw and, oh, I need to, work on my shading today. I need to do this. Oh, no. Like, there's no right way to do it. There's only your way of doing it then. There's only the way that you're doing it. There's no right or wrong way. It's only the way that you do it, or the way you've done it, or the way you're going to do it. And it's fine if you don't want to draw. I mean, I encourage you to draw every single day. I draw every single day. It doesn't take that long. 5 minutes is all you need, seriously. But if you're not in the mood, don't do it. Wait until you're in a better mood and have a cup of coffee, make a tea. Go for a walk. You might see something on that walk and be like, oh, I should draw that 100%. And if you draw it and you don't like it, cool. That's totally fine. You know? I've drawn hundreds of things where I'm like, oh, no, that's not it. And it's totally fine. It doesn't make you a worse artist. It makes you a better artist for acknowledging the things that you could work on. It's like a great fighter or a great ballet dancer. Um, they don't know what they are doing until they film it, right? Great ballet players, great fighters, they'll film their performance and they'll review it and they'll be like, oh, I dropped my guard here and he landed a shot, or oh, in this transition between these two movements, I could have been a bit smoother, or whatever it is. And it's not that it's wrong, it's not that it's bad, it's just what happened, and how can I improve, how can I learn? How can I learn from what I did? If you go into a mindset in anything with that mindset, anything, drawing, music, dance, photography, if you just go in with the mindset of open learning, you will have. But that's okay. You know, sometimes it's not for us to understand. You know, sometimes it's not for us to understand. But question yourself, why don't I get this? How can I improve? What do I need to work on? And sometimes you need to work on taking breaks. Sometimes you need to work on rest. Like, I'm a bit of a workaholic. I don't think I'm a workaholic, but people tell me, Alex, you need to chill out a little bit. You're doing a bit too much here. And I'll look at myself and I'll be like, man, I'm in the groove, I'm in the mode. But then I'll be getting a bit fatigued and I'll be like, oh, maybe they're right. Maybe I am overworking myself a little bit. I need to chill out, take a day off. And that rest allows your brain to kindle these neurogenesis pathways between your brain to your hands, to your feet, to your lungs, and you're able to give your body some time to learn and allow to learn, give it space to learn, and you'll come back better. You might not feel it, you might feel like, oh, I'm being lazy, but sometimes you just need to take a bit of a break. Instead of spending 2 hours on a drawing, spend 10 minutes, and then go for a walk. But other times you do need a bit of a, kick up the bum and just need to get into it. Everyone's different, everyone's process is going to be different, everyone's path is going to be different. So comparing yourself to others is not beneficial. You can get inspiration from others, but that's not comparing yourself to others. That's being inspired by what they've done and growing from that. But only compare yourself to who you were yesterday. And as cliche as it sounds, it's a cliche for a reason. If you compare yourself to others, you're never going to be satisfied with your work, and you probably might not even make work because you're so fixated on trying to be something that you're not. And it's okay to be something that your authentic self provides. It's okay to be different, that's what art is. Art is acknowledging everyone's differences and how they make things. It's not trying to get the most photorealistic picture of an apple. Because, if I wanted a photorealistic picture of an apple, I'd take a photo of the apple, right? So this one kind of did turn into a flower. some sort of alien plant. I might not do all the roots, I might just put some roots showing and then put the rest in the ground. Maybe it's on a hill. You don't need fancy tools as well. You don't need expensive equipment to get your ideas on paper. The simplicity of drawing is that you need two things: a medium and a canvas. However you do it, whether it's a piece of wood or a piece of paper, paint, pencil, pen, spray paint. You don't need anything fancy. There's a cool Instagram page, Pebble Picasso, that I've been very intrigued by, or inspired, intrigued, blown away. It's hard to describe, but he essentially, or she, I'm not sure the gender of this creator, uses pebbles in the sand or just rocks in the lake or wherever they are, and turns it into a face or a picture of something, and it is mesmerizing. It is very zen because you know it's going to get washed away, or you know it's going to be eroded by the land around it. And yeah, it's beautiful. Every time it comes up in my feed, I'm just blown away by it. Blown away that someone can create something so magical. That's the greatest thing about social media, is how easy it is to find people that you connect with and resonate with. Finding a community of like-minded individuals within 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes you could probably find 10 communities, a community per minute. I wouldn't be surprised. Try not to get stuck in the loop of performing for others, though, and seeking validation. Especially since I started putting my work online, I started getting those thoughts of, will people like this? What are the reactions I'm going to get? It's very easy to fall into that trap. And it doesn't matter what they think, whether they like it, whether they hate it. That's not in your control and not for you to dwell on. As long as you learn something from the experience and you're becoming a better artist, that's all that really matters. Or a better person. You don't even need to become a better artist, a better person. It's good to think of this journey as a journal. You don't have to show anyone either. I remember being on a train overseas in Europe, in Denmark, I think. Well, I was traveling to Denmark, still on the train, and I sat next to this lady, similar age, maybe a couple years older, and we were just talking, because as you do, it's someone next to the train, or bus. It was a long bus ride, one of those Greyhound buses, and started talking about how we both draw. And of course, I'm intrigued. I want to see her sketchbook. She wants to see mine, so I opened my sketchbook. I showed her. She was like, "Oh, that's really cool." But she opens her sketchbook, and it was completely different to what I had imagined a sketchbook would look like. It didn't have, you know, those stereotypical images on each page like a mine does. Right? It didn't have like, oh, this is drawing from this day, this is drawing from this day. She had cutouts, and she'd, you know, taken things off of bus stops, like stickers, and stuck them on the page, and, you know, just from life. She's collecting her environment and putting it into this sketchbook, and it was so organic and different. And you can't reproduce that. And it felt like I was in her soul. And of course, she was complimenting me, and I was complimenting her, and it was like this trading of inner soul. You know, she treated it in a much different way than I treated it. Maybe we both learned from each other. I mean, it was a long bus trip. It was like a 12-hour bus trip or something. I don't think she was on the bus for that long, but it was it was a beautiful experience. Being connected like that. And then afterwards, it was never, you know, I never got a social media or anything, so it was like this transcendental, like almost like a lucid experience, you know, just never seeing the person again. They're on their journey, I'm on my journey. Yeah. Like, everyone's gonna be different, everyone's gonna have their own sketchbook, or ideas, or way of drawing, or way of creating. And none are better than the other. They just have different qualities. Also, if you're here to learn, that's fantastic. So am I. I'm not going to be teaching a lot of techniques or anything, really, other than the approach and mindset I go in to the project. I'm essentially just going to be expressing my train of thought on the journey of the drawing. And I might eventually, if people want to see and learn from me, but I don't. I'm not taught academically how to draw. I've just picked things up from different places and learned just from doing trial and error. honestly, if you ask me, the only way you can learn. Sure, you can learn techniques and theory and stuff, but you can know all the theory in the world and never put it into practice. You know, some of the best musicians have no idea what a chord is. It doesn't make them a bad musician. Doesn't mean they can't express themselves any better than the next. I think I'll go to the 30-minute mark for this one. It's pretty much done. I don't think I'm going to add any more. I could add a background, like some mountains or a river or something. But I kind of like the idea of just having it like this. You know, to go to show that, you know, everyone, maybe not everyone has 30 minutes, but I'm sure you can carve out 30 minutes or 20 minutes. Like, I did this in 20 minutes, let's be real. I'm just kind of dwindling on it for the next 10 and just kind of adding little things that I like. You can find 20 minutes in a day, and if you can't, you may need to look a little bit harder and be honest with yourself. And it may be a bit of a slap in the face, but sometimes you need that. But yeah, don't beat yourself up about your artwork. It's not what it's about. Probably the best way to start if you've never started it. Set 5 minutes and just draw what you want to draw. If you don't like it, after the 5 minutes is up, you don't have to look at it again. But that's me saying that is, don't not look at it again. Just flip to the next page and do another one, or put it aside till tomorrow. Wake up, set 5 minutes, do another 5-minute drawing, put it aside, and then the next day, maybe you'll set 5 minutes and you're like, oh no, I'm not done yet. Alright, put another 5 minutes on. Now you've done a 10-minute drawing. And then the next day, it might be the same, you might do another 10-minute drawing until you start doing that as a routine for yourself. You start doing 10 minutes, start doing 10 minutes, you start doing 20 minutes. And then before you know it, you're not even setting a timer anymore, you're just doing the thing because you enjoy doing the thing. And you found your own little style and routine that you like to do, whether it's drawing cubes or boxes or alligators, or you like to use colours in a specific way that you've never seen before. See, people might say that I've messed up here. Well, to myself, I might say that I've messed up here. Put some thick lines down that were a bit too thick. That's okay. I'm just gonna roll with the punches. Maybe it's just the way the hill is. It's darker here. It's got a bit of a dip. So the thing about ink, you can't really predict what's gonna be highlighted and what's not. So you kind of just gotta roll with the punches. And once it's there, it's there. So I encourage anyone that's starting out, don't use an eraser. Use something like a pen, something inked, and who knows, we might actually turn this into a little riverbed. Yeah. A quick off the cuff to finish off. There we go. And then of course this is going to be seen through the river. And I'm not going to worry too much about detailing over here, because there's not really much going on over here. Maybe that was a bit too thick, who cares? And bada bing bada boom, I think I'll call it here. Maybe here. Maybe here. Doesn't matter that much. There we go. The flower is drinking from the water. If you have enjoyed, please let me know. No, there aren't any birds, but there are lots of birds around, but I don't have birds myself. Anyway, if you have enjoyed, let me know. Would love to see what you have drawn if you drew. And like, subscribe, and all that jazz. Hope you have made something you're proud of, or you've learned something. And I hope you have a fantastic day. I really enjoyed it today. And I hope you did too. Peace.